Welcome to My God a Podcast. I'm Jim Wood. In this episode, John Powell and I review Georgia's 43-20 win over Florida. We talk about our experiences on Saturday and what stood out to us during the game. As always, remember to check out the newly redesigned MyGottaPodcast.com to see our latest merch. And you can follow us on social media at MyGottaPodcast. Finally, we'd love for you to check out our presenting sponsor, Oxia Time, at OxiaTime.com. That's AXIATIME.com. Now, let's join the conversation in progress. I actually forgot. I forgot that I tweeted that.
This is gonna be a quick episode, guys. Easy prep.
Oh man, what a day! What a day! We had our own cocktail party at home. I'll tell you that. It was a beautiful day outside. It was hot. It was hot here in North Carolina.
It was hot.
So I can't imagine how hot it was in Jacksonville. But yeah, man, we had a good day in the porch. Had some creature comforts. Had some bourbon and cokes going. Had the Ponda's famous bean dip. TM. And hey, even Brad Nessler referred to the game as the cocktail party in the opening on CBS. So that was pretty funny.
Wow.
Yeah. I told Kim, I was like, they're going to get in trouble for that.
Oh, yeah. What are they supposed to call it? I can't even remember.
Oh, I don't even know. The schools were trying to promote some name and something, but
for some reason, I thought they gave that up.
They may have
border war or something like that.
Yeah, something lame. I don't know.
Well, the Ore stayed in Athens.
Yes, it did.
Is it called like the Okefenokee Ore or something like that?
It is the Okefenokee Ore. That is correct.
Yeah. We forgot to talk about that on the preview, but I always forget that that's actually a thing. Did they have any like pictures of anybody like holding the ore?
I didn't see any, and that's isn't that a fairly recent thing? Didn't they come up with the ore like either while we were in school? Maybe I could be making that up, but like I remember it being a thing, and maybe that's just when I learned about it. So I don't know. Hey, I know a guy we can ask.
Jason. Yeah, Jason. We should have asked him about that
next year. Hey, it'll give us something to talk about next year.
It'll give us something to talk about. Yeah.
What was your viewing Saturday? What was your what did you guys do?
I did the cocktail thing, which quickly pivoted into bourbon, which Jim, at this point, like I just need to stick to what works. I don't need to change up the gear game. I need to just go straight to the bourbon, because every game lately that we like get scored on first, like I end up having to pivot from my beverage of choice, because I'm trying to either like pace myself or be festive. But every time I pivot straight to the bourbon and change into my regular outfit, everything's fine.
Look,
as soon as Florida scored, I was like, that's enough of this crap. Like I'm done.
I actually I did go. Okay, so I think I sat down to watch the game and I wasn't wearing a hat, and like I usually wear a hat. I'm not gonna say usually. I always am wearing a hat for a Georgia game. So yeah, I had no hat on. When they came down and scored, I went inside and put on my hat, and then everything was fine.
Yeah.
So, hey, but again, with the final result, we need to stick with the tweeting the official hashtag. I used the official hashtag in my pregame. I think I texted you and said official hashtag engaged. So I think it worked.
I think it was fine.
Yeah,
we did that. I made sausage dip, a little bit easier on the ingredients and frankly overall cooking than the bean dip. But let's see, we did the sausage dip. What else did we do? I'm trying to remember. Golly, man, days are blurred at this point. Today was a rough day at the Powell house with the pumpkin carving situation, which is why we got a little late start here.
We're a day late because you had Sunday night festivities as well. How was Six Flags?
Oh, man, I've never seen so many people at Six Flags in my life, dude. Like there were so many people. It was ridiculous.
I
Like,
don't think I ever went that. We have they call it Scarowinds at Carowinds here, so they have a
okay.
similar thing. So yeah, it's been years though since I've been to that. I don't think I've ever gone to that at night actually. So
We went to
never really
Fright
done it.
we went to Fright Fest in the past, and it was not nearly as bad, although maybe we just had gotten there earlier. I had told the kids we were going to try to go, and then like one thing after another, like it's not going to work out, like I've got to pivot, and all this stuff, and then finally like Carter was like, oh, I thought you said we were going to go. Fine, let's go.
Yeah. Apparently,
Um,
I dropped the ball. I messed up because I was supposed to take Lily to a haunted house this year, and I think I'm in trouble because I didn't do it. We went like
you're
2 years ago, and we didn't go last year or this year. So my bad.
you're in trouble, Jim.
I
You're in
am.
trouble.
I am.
But yeah, we went and rode I think 3 or 4 rides over the course of like 3 hours to give you kind of an indication on what was going on there.
Got it. Okay.
A lot of
Okay.
standing in line.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense.
But yeah, no, dude, we went. It was a complete contrast to the last time we went to Six Flags. There was like nobody there. Like literally,
Mm,
Carter just would ride the Goliath, which is like the big ride that they have here,
yeah.
and he would get off and run around and go back up, and he rode it like 8 times in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had those days
Yeah,
up here. Yeah. Those are amazing.
yeah, it was
Well,
not that way on Sunday.
no. No. Well, I don't know. It was it as bad as the turf at the game?
I probably not. The turf was definitely. I did not have freshly laid sod on my game notes, Jim.
I did not either. Yeah. I did not have like star linebacker for Florida potentially injuring himself during warmups on said bad laid turf.
Yeah,
That was
seriously.
nuts, man. I know. I think Josh used that to dig in on this should be a home and home,
Yeah.
not played in an NFL stadium.
Well played.
Yeah.
Well played.
So, but I thought that was interesting though that they talked about like on the broadcast that it's basically the city of Jacksonville manages the turf and not even the Jaguars, and so it was like
Mhm.
the city decided to change the turf or something. I don't know. That was crazy. Maybe not. Maybe don't do that like the week of the game where the seams aren't even gonna take by kickoff. That was pretty nuts. But
Yeah, that was
at any
kind of
rate,
nuts. I mean, it's not like out of like the ordinary because you see that a lot of times when soccer. You see it quite often in soccer because you have, particularly in the US, where people are turning over these NFL stadiums that are artificial turf, and
mhm.
they're bringing in like sod for an international match or a match that features like a foreign team, like Real Madrid or Manchester United or whatever, or like in the case of Messi with the whole Messi and the MLS thing, like part of his deal is that he doesn't play on artificial turf.
Right.
Matter of fact, I think that came up in Charlotte because he's coming to Charlotte, I believe, either soon or I can't remember. I saw a video about how they were gonna how they were gonna process the sod, but it happens quite often in soccer. But that was pretty brutal. You saw that, and to be fair, like I didn't see quite as many people slipping around as I expected. I mean, not to the degree that was
Yeah.
like doom and gloom. I mean, it definitely looked bad, but I didn't see a whole lot of folks slipping and sliding around like I was expecting, and people getting hurt with rolling their ankles and stuff. So
Right.
maybe that guy just got unlucky, but
Yeah. He could have stepped on like right on the seam or something.
right,
I don't
right,
know. Who knows? But yeah.
or a divot pregame.
Right. Right. Anyways, so I don't know. I guess in this game it was like the defense had the slow start, I guess, just for a drive. But then after that, I mean, it was just an onslaught.
I tell you what it felt like. So I was super worried after the first series. Obviously, that meant that dissipated very quickly.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Jim. Like the way that this season is gone, like I don't know. It's like bizarro defense world where like we look super vulnerable, but then all of a sudden like we just figure it out. It kind of reminds me of. Do you remember when we would play Georgia Tech and Paul Johnson would trot out there and he would run a few plays like run a series or so to figure out where the assignments were.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of feels like whatever the defensive alternative of that is, so that
Interesting. Yeah.
like basically we ran out there and then figured out like who was doing what they were doing, or I don't know what it was, but like it was the defensive equivalent of just figuring it out, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they did. and
Yeah.
and I actually think it was like the best defensive performance, like from my eyes. Now, I have not looked at the stats in depth or anything like that, but like I felt like that was like that's the kind of defense we're used to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got pressure, right? Like so, like things
Yeah,
that we haven't really seen, right? We got multiple. We had like what 4 sacks in the first half, I think. We got
right.
a fumble, which we hadn't seen like all year. Um,
Exactly. We got a recovered fumble.
yes, exactly. I
That was
mean,
the
it
only
was
turnover of the game too, I believe, unless you count the turnover on downs
right or the punt block.
or the punt block. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, okay. So case in point, I don't know if you've seen the video. Someone kind of stitched like basically back to back. So they're the first touchdown play. So they throw the slant, perfect timing, right? Just is past everyone. And I can't. I wish I could remember who tweeted this because it was actually really funny. It was like it said like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And it was
Mm-hmm.
basically showing later in the game where they basically ran the same play. It was on 3rd and 8, and that was the play when Bullard absolutely leveled that guy. So which like holy cow, like what a hit. You're right, man. Defense was flying around, and I mean after that first drive, I mean Florida didn't really do anything. I mean the last touchdown was with like our third team, and the game was long over. It was
So
impressive.
I'll put it to you. I'll put it to you this way. You know, we are big. We're big proponents of. I always love looking at the ESPN GameCast, like the win probabilities,
Mhm.
like after the games, and so you look at that, and the game basically turned the point at which statistically it became almost like impossible for us to not win this game, like where it was like 90% plus. I believe that we were just starting the second quarter is when the game basically turned into a 90% win probability. We were
Yeah.
up 17-7, no, 10-7. All right, so at 10-7, we were 89% win probability. That was with 14:20 left in the second quarter.
Yeah.
And from there it gets just even worse. Like we didn't hit 99% until it was like basically halftime, which is just
Yeah.
mind-boggling to me.
So do you know what that turning point was right there? End of first quarter, beginning of second quarter?
It was like that 5 minute thing, right? It was like 5 minutes.
But what happened in the middle of that there, like literally, so the last play of the first quarter was their like 3rd and 8, where it looked like they got a first down. They went to commercial. Kirby kind of lobbied.
Kirby gamed the system. Yeah.
Kirby Kirby stepped on the line to gain again, like he did a couple games ago. They did the review, and then they said they were short. And then they had the trick play. The trick play on 4th down, we stopped them. That was that play right there. That's when the win probability shut up. Because then we scored in what 2-3 plays. I
Mm-hmm.
think 2 plays later. I think it was like 1 or 2 just runs, and Dejan scored on the second or third carry right after that. So
Again, the whole fourth down, going forward on fourth down kind of stuff, just
yeah,
is really silly to me.
it was. I gotta say, like the play they ran was kind of cool. Like I don't know that I've ever seen anyone do that where they snapped it through the quarterback's legs to the running back. I don't know if I ever. I don't know. I don't remember seeing anyone doing that. I was kind of shocked by that. I mean, obviously thrilled it didn't work. I mean, Smile had it covered like instantly. And he was all over him.
Yeah. It was fun. It was just a fun game, man.
It was fun. So I mean, I don't know, some fun things that happened, John. McConkey got back on his donkey.
McConkey got back on his donkey. We got a great AI generated image off of
Yeah,
that.
who
I have
made
no
that?
idea where it came from because I've seen it multiple places since it hit our text thread.
Yeah, that's what I kind of wanted to like. I think we need to tweet it out with like one of the who did this.
This is why we watermark things, Jim.
That's right.
Everybody makes fun of the watermark, but it's all fun and games until you don't know where things come from.
Yes, true. But man, like, I mean, he looked like his old self. I gotta say too, and I tweeted this just like from my account. The touchdown that he had, the way he caught it in traffic, landed, instantly pivoted, and then was off to the races. It wasn't on as pivotal of a play in the moment in the season, but it reminded me of the Lindsey Scott, the way Lindsey Scott caught Buck's pass and kind of just turned and ran
away from everybody.
Yeah. So kind of reminded me of that. So
I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
I'd say that his back looked like it was pretty good. And I think that Graham had mentioned like his hand or something like that. He had like hurt his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Everything looked like it was functioning pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Like having Ladd come back when Brock goes down is a very fortuitous situation. Obviously, you hate to lose Bowers, but if it means that you get McConkey back as a result of that, like I think that Georgia fans would take that deal if you have to lose Bowers.
Right. I did like not the 84 factored into this, but the graphic that CBS did, it was kind of cheesy, but I kind of liked it where they were like adding up player numbers to get to 19 to say how do you replace Bowers? You can't replace him with one guy.
Oh,
so
yeah, I saw
they used
that,
a bunch of jersey numbers. I thought that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Everybody hates Gary, but that was pretty good.
Well, he definitely hit the did not say Rosemy Jack Saint.
Yes,
that definitely happened. They kept saying Saint Jack.
Saint Jack is what they all of them say. Saint Jack, man. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know.
They either say Rosemy Saint Jack or Marcus Saint Jack.
It's like, come on, guys. Definitely have to shout out to Walt Dog NC. Delpa Brother out. That hashtag definitely got used on Saturday. The one-handed catch that he made was beautiful. And to have that be his first catch of the game, I believe that was on the first drive when everyone's saying, what are we going to do with Brock out? And to do that was pretty sweet.
I thought it was great. I have one caveat on that play that I want to harp on for a second.
Okay.
If Beck hits him in stride, he's probably still running.
I agree.
That's the one thing that I would say, like, Kirby's probably going to be looking at plays like that. Like, there was a couple of other plays. Like there was one play where he threw it at the back of the end zone. I feel like he made a bad decision trying to throw it to the back of the end zone for Marcus Rosemy, Jack Saint. He threw it too high. I mean, even Marcus was like waving his hand in the air saying it was too high or whatever.
I think that was like the last play of the first drive before we kicked the field goal, I think. Because I know he threw it over everyone big time, or maybe there was a different one too.
Yeah, I don't know. There was another play where the play broke down and he tried to throw it away, or he did throw it away. But man, he had a guy breaking wide open on the other side of the field if he just worked his progression back that way. I don't know if his body was going towards the sideline there, but like he basically already bailed out of that play. I think it was like the wheel route. They tried to run a wheel route again and it didn't work out so well. But Lovett was basically like standing by himself on the other side of the field.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely
some things that he could work on to clean up.
Yeah.
I think he had a drop or so. I think he had some drops in as well. If I remember, didn't Dejan drop one?
Dejan did drop one. Dejan dropped one. There was a deep ball that I can't even remember who it was. I remember we were texting about it because it hit the receiver's hands, but it was like one hand. It's kind of hard to put on the receiver. And I can't remember who it was now. It was either Rosemy or Rara.
If you can touch it, you can catch it kind of thing.
And that's kind of how I felt live. And then they showed the replay and he like touched it with one hand. I was like, okay, well, maybe not.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, okay. So like, I'm not going to lie. Like I did get a little frustrated at one point, like when we kind of hit a lull Like we had that we had that crazy flurry that we're talking about, right? That
Hmm.
was not quite on the level of the end of the first half of 2021, but not too far away from that either. Whereas like, score, turnover, score, block punt, which that was a true freshman, by the way, Jonel Aguero that made the block punt. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, which that was one of our preseason players that I was looking for on the defensive side.
Yeah. So and how unlucky that the block punt literally lands out of bounds. That's
I know, right?
um,
I
but
like safeties though,
I know we got to do the safety
especially
dance.
especially with the running.
Uh,
That's great. Um, I, now you got me thinking that now you got me thinking that Scott Howard had a missed opportunity there.
for the safety dance. Oh, nice.
Oh man. Yeah. What were you gonna say? Sorry, I totally you totally got me off my game with the safety dance comment.
Sorry, who cares? We beat Florida.
Yeah, seriously.
I was saying, okay, I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place in my head. I was gonna say something else, but it reminded me that after we got the block punt with the safety, wasn't that when they punted off when they punted for the free kick? Wasn't that like was that the horse collar on
Yeah,
Muse?
there was a horse collar. I'm not sure if it was that play or not. It had to have been close to that point, but
Yeah, it was on a punt. I can't remember if it was that or not. But there's
right.
that one sequence where there was like the horse collar on Muse, and like right after that, Dejan ran the middle, and like three guys grabbed his face mask, and
Yeah, so like we should have been basically past midfield
yeah,
on just penalties at that point.
yeah,
It should
yeah.
have been 30 yards worth of penalties.
Exactly. I think it was that. I could be wrong, but it was definitely after a punt. So I don't know. I felt the officials were a little off. Like honestly, I'm not sure the spot was right on the earlier what we were talking about, where Kirby kind of lobbied.
Yeah.
Like he may have been short, but he
I thought
wasn't
it
as
was pretty
short.
I thought it was pretty brutal that they made that call, that they overturned the call on the field.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, like I'll take it, but I thought that was kind of weird. So yeah, I don't know. Not the greatest play by the officials. But at
Right.
any rate, yeah, that's where. Oh, but so what I was going with there was, so after all that happened and we got our big lead, then there was a bit of a lull where like our offense didn't do a whole lot, and we kept like getting into the red zone, and we wouldn't score a touchdown. And then until we had, what was it? It was actually it was a bit of a wheel route to Dylan Bell. I mean, he was lined up a receiver, but
Hmm.
that kind of got us back in the flow. And then we scored even again after that. So my joke was that I let my frustrations get to me and actually had texted my dad like, "Can we figure the red zone out, please?" And then we scored right after that. So it worked.
Right. So I wanna talk about something real quick on the block punt.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give Brooks Austin his flowers on this one. He tweeted out a picture of the formation of the punt team on that. He was saying, and did you see this? Because I haven't had a chance to go back and look at it live. The highlights obviously just show like the actual like block punt,
Mhm.
but what he was saying was that like in the lead up to that call, the the special teams team. I don't know who the person is that basically plays quarterback on the special teams formation, but they were saying that the coverage team noticed that they only had two players back to protect, and
Mhm.
so the team decided to pivot to a punt block play call. I didn't catch that live, but like if that's the case, like that's incredible coaching, man.
So I think and I don't know what to make of this, but because we're a day late, we have Kirby's press conference. And he said that came up in the press conference. And he said
Yeah.
something along the lines of like he said, I wouldn't say that it was an audible. Because like I think the way the question was phrased to him was basically like, hey, did they audible into the punt block? And he said no. He said that that they don't have the power to do that because they'd make bad decisions all the time, which I thought was kind of funny. Um, but
That's great.
he said that they did like he said that they did make an adjustment, but that it was more along the lines of that they were lined up wrong or there was something with the alignment, and then like they fixed their alignment before the snap. But I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. But that's what Kirby said.
I wonder, like, not so much giving them an audible, but like, you know, if
Yeah.
this happens kind of thing, like if they
Right.
come out and they look like this, they present this way,
Right.
then we're going to do that. Like maybe they notice something on the film kind of thing.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But either way, like I really like the special teams being special.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Brett
Payday.
Thorson got out. He got
Brett
to get some
Thorson.
action.
He did. He did. But
It was a big payday.
big payday. No swirling winds. Or they don't. They didn't affect payday.
Only on the kickoffs, apparently.
Oh my gosh. I actually forgot to start off with that. The whole first drive, it all started with the kickoff, kicking the ball out of the end zone. Oh my gosh.
If
Anyways,
he just kicked it out of the end zone, yeah.
it all started with the big return. But yes, in our preview, remember, like I had found and like the stats, and like Georgia was the only team that they didn't have a ranking or any details around opponents' punt return yards, and it's because literally no one has returned a punt against Georgia all season. Like that is insane.
That's like one of those stats that's like you'll never see it on paper, but it's just amazing to have.
We're 8-0 and no one has returned a punt.
Yeah.
8 games in. Holy cow. That is nuts. I mean, that's mind-boggling to me. I can't believe that. So I don't know. So yeah. So we figured that out. And I gotta say, if you've been listening to the podcast, you knew the answer to the Affleck trivia question. I don't know if you caught that, John. The question was about
I was probably cooking, so I don't even know that I saw the same.
It was that Georgia has the third longest ever streak of consecutive weeks as AP number one. Who were the two teams that had longer streaks historically? That was the Affleck.
That's what it was. I actually, it's funny you say that, because afterwards, a neighbor friend of mine came over and we were sharing some bourbon. We've been like basically playing hot potato on doing something like that, but either he's busy or I'm busy. So he came over and we did cigars after the game, and I actually lit a fire. We basically live in the woods, right? So like I have this huge pile that we ended up burning, and it was a beautiful bonfire.
Yeah.
But he came out and I was talking to him about that. I was like, yeah, we're like, yeah, at this point I had been in the bourbon, right? And so I was like, yeah, it's because we had the winning streak, we're number 3 in the winning streak, but it's actually AP number 1.
Yeah, it's the AP number 1 streak. Yeah. So I blurted the answer out. And Kim was like, whatever, why'd you just ruined the me trying to answer it. It's pretty funny.
Oh, Jim.
I messed it up. I got all excited. Yeah, man.
I appreciate that Kim's trying to participate.
Oh yeah. She had, see, I guess that's another reason why we played so well is Kim was in her seat during the game. So
all right, Kim, we need you to come through these next few weeks.
she's got her spot on the porch, and she was in her seat the whole time, so it paid off for sure.
I like it. Let's see what else. Bonehead coaching decisions for sure.
It reeked of desperation. It reeked of desperation going for it.
Yeah. I feel like that Florida's main account, like tweeted something out on the first touchdown, and then like basically didn't tweet anything else after that, which I found really strange. I don't even know. I haven't even checked today or this evening to see if they had like messaged anything. I was like, I wonder if the athletic department is just so occupied by like working out how they can get rid of this guy.
Yeah,
because that felt like one of those decisions that is like that's the kind of play call that people get fired over.
And I mean, like again, I think I did read someone's like, oh, he's big into analytics and all this kind of stuff, right? I mean, like, look, on Georgia's opening drive, we were down 7-0. Kirby could have gotten emotional and said the analytics say to go for it 4th down, but he didn't. He took the points. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you gotta know when to, you gotta sometimes you have to live to see another day. You got to take the points, all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't buy into all that stuff as much, but that's just me. I'm old. I know I'm old.
Yeah, I mean, when the game is so early like that, like there's still, I mean, you still had a couple quarters to play, man. Like, but you make that decision, like you turn the ball over there, and suddenly you're looking down the barrel of an absolute butt whooping, which is exactly what happened. And I think that it's you can't underscore it enough, but like Kirby is a shark, man. And in my opinion, it became a situation where like that was the catalyst for a cascade of events that Kirby just basically said, okay, we're going to end this game right now.
Yeah.
And when you have a coach that's that detail oriented, they go for the jugular, and he's a stone cold killer. And you present an opportunity like that, like he's going to exploit it.
Yeah.
And it could have been in my opinion, I think that it's one of those situations where like, okay, you got the quick turnover, you got the quick touchdown, and then there was a cascade of events that happened after that. Like it could have dictated everything that happened for the next, 15, 20 minutes of the ball game, where he decides that he's going to get aggressive. And maybe he wasn't planning on being as aggressive as he was, because he wanted to go ahead and slam the door on this.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Agreed. I don't have a whole lot more. One thing I did want to call out, I don't know, did you see My God a Podcast recent guest and Oxia Time ambassador Tate Ratledge jumping into the stands after the game? Have you seen that video?
That was funny. Yeah. I saw Tate said it was a struggle to get up there or something like that.
Oh, that was amazing. So shout out to friend of the show, Tate Ratledge, and Oxia Time as well. So just reminder that Oxia Time is the presenting sponsor of season 4 My God a Podcast. Be sure to go check them out, oxiatime.com, AXIATIME.com. And as always, you can use the code My God a Podcast if you want to get a presentation box to go with your Swiss watch that's officially licensed. You can get any of the various varieties, back-to-back natties. Pick your year, pick your season, which one you like better. Head over there to Oxia Time and get one of those. Be sure to go check it out.
Yeah, amen. Let's see, what else?
I had another random broadcast thing, and actually on that kind of on the NIL front.
Okay.
A Malachi Starks Powerade commercial during the game.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. I was wondering about that. Like, is that something? I think I messaged the text thread about it. I was like, hey, that was really cool. Like, because it wasn't just like it wasn't just some jackwagon sitting in a random restaurant, like, come and eat at
Exactly.
It
Which,
was like
by the way,
professionally done, like national. It almost felt like it felt like it was a national ad, not so much like a regional ad.
I agree. I guess I mean CBS is the national, that's the national game of the week. So I'm curious.
The way they run those things, it could have been a regional spot.
It could have been. But yeah, man, that was pretty cool. Although I do love the people who are like advertising for the car dealership, but that was pretty sweet. I missed it the first time it aired. You texted, you were like Powerade commercial with Malachi Starks, what? And I was like, what? So then I was like paying attention to the commercials from there on.
I wonder if part of it is their sponsorship or partnership with Georgia, because Powerade's like the official beverage of UGA or whatever. So,
and it's specifically not Gatorade. I thought that was a nice touch, John. To air it during the Georgia Florida game.
Exactly.
So I thought that was a nice touch.
Right.
Let me see if I had any. Another thing. They mentioned on the broadcast what we talked about the 1904 game. So they did mention that Florida does not acknowledge that win. So shout out Jason Hasty.
Confirmed. CBS listens to My God a Podcast.
Exactly. Oh man, it was a good day.
What a game. I got to tell you, man, like the Beck situation, in my opinion, is you can as of yesterday, because I was texting you guys about it, I was like, should I put $50 on Beck winning the Heisman? Because
right,
I think it was at plus 300 or something like that. or plus 350. That's looking pretty good right now because Buddy is on a heater right now.
He's on a tear, man. He's playing lights out. He is lights out.
Absolutely lights out. And he's playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy because like someone posted a picture of his stats and JJ McCarthy, is that the Michigan quarterback?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They posted their stats like side by side, and it's like, wow, like Carson Beck is way better than that guy, and that guy is getting all this Heisman hype right now.
Right. Right. Yeah.
At some point, you don't have to worry about it, Georgia fans. Much like with the whole number one ranking, much like with the Heisman race, as long as these boys keep dealing the way that they're dealing right now, that's all going to work itself out.
Yeah. 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 Agreed. It's a bad day for the Bobo haters. Hopefully that's totally gone.
How about newly inducted Georgia Florida Hall of Famer Terrence Edwards tweeting that out? Like he tweeted something like, "Hey, I heard Bobo ran that play up the middle for 5 yards. Like how are we feeling about that?"
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, dude. I don't know. It was incredible.
The game was literally on par with the Kentucky game in terms of like the completeness of it. Yeah. And it's gotten to the point where it's like, okay, have we really just been sandbagging this whole time, the whole manufactured adversity situation? And Georgia actually brings its A game out when we're playing these ranked or these big game SEC opponents. Mm-hmm. And is that a prelude for what we're going to see in Athens this weekend?
I love the defense feeling the offense out on the first drive theory. Cause I actually I didn't have the exact same comparison as you had, but I had thought that like we talk about the manufactured adversity and like, are we just running a super vanilla defense in the first drive, see what they're going to do and then react?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, Graham has talked about Schumann as being this like incredibly calculated and analytical guy. And maybe he's just, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. It just feels like it's, I think about all the different games that this has happened on, like, where we've had the quote unquote slow starts. Mm-hmm. And you just never really ever felt like there was ever going to be an issue for us. Like, I remember these games like Carter's like, oh, we're going to lose. And man, they'll figure it out.
Right.
Like, I don't know, man. Like it just doesn't, the vibe from this team is just like the way that they've approached the entirety of the season just feels like it's just a Kirby, like just Python choke out. Like we're just going to slowly just choke the oxygen out of this entire season for everyone. Anybody that has hope, it's all going to get wrapped up.
Yeah. Yep. Love it. Yet another win in the cocktail party. Most points Georgia scored against Florida since 1982. So,
which is crazy because didn't we score like we scored 40 last season, right? It was like 40-22 or something like that.
Yeah, and this was this was 43-20. I know the 1982 game was 44-0, so we missed it by a point.
We missed it by a point. Dang.
From that standpoint, so yeah, man. I mean, outside of the COVID year, we've had these guys' number.
Gotta love it. And anybody that says that, anybody that says that this game needs to be played, home and home or whatever, like I hear you, but like there's nothing like watching that stadium completely empty out. Over half of it empty out by the second quarter, by the third quarter.
Yeah, it was
completely, because we were getting reports that it was like halftime and people were like leaving, but like it was empty in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Shout out to Hug Dog. He tweeted a pretty good picture of it.
He did
when they filed out. I was gonna say, for folks having their own cocktail parties, my sister texted me. They were at like a band thing. Mm-hmm. And they set up a projector inside of like an 18-wheeler hauler where they had hauled all the band gear. So they were watching it like on the wall of an 18-wheeler inside of an 18-wheeler at a band competition. So
Amazing.
shout out to the band with and Brett was there. Brett was with them, by the way. Because our kids, his kid is in the same band as my niece. So
That's funny.
yeah. So that was their they didn't have cocktails though, because they were on school property.
I mean, you go to those things, Jim, and you have no idea what's in those Yeti cups, guys.
That is true. That's true. That's true.
I'm just saying.
I had mine. I had my stuff in my Bulldog Bourbon Social Club cup, by the way. So
yeah, super jealous about that. I need to get some of those.
it was nice. It was nice. All right. Well, yeah. Another dominated cocktail party. I don't know. Like it just it feels so good, man. Like it means so much to beat these guys like this after all the stuff we went through for so long. For us, I know like all-time series history, we definitely have it, but we were struggling with these guys for a while, and to be able to do this to them,
I tell you what, man,
it's just amazing.
Seeing the tweets of like Florida fans being like, y'all are some classy folks, like so classy and blah 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 and all this stuff. I'm like, bro, where were you in the 2000s?
Right. Yeah. In the 90s.
And the 90s, yeah. Like when I was in school, we won one game when I was in college, I think.
If you were still there, yeah, 04. It was your senior year, right?
Yeah.
Or no, yeah. I think 04 was
it 04?
We won in 04. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
That's the only one I ever. Yeah. So it had to have been that. Yeah. That was the only one I ever saw us win down there live in person. So.
And it was brutal. It was brutal.
Yeah.
I remember like my Florida fans, the people that are in my circles that are Florida fans are just deathly quiet. Like I didn't even text any of them about it. Like it's just that's the way it is right now. Like I'm totally fine with never hearing from any of my friends.
I'll say
that are fans of other teams.
We went to like a Halloween party on a friend's property, and like a band party, bonfire, all kinds of stuff. And I saw a good buddy of mine who went to Florida. Didn't even say a word. I did not say a single word about to him. It was so amazing.
But if you lose, at some point,
we hear it.
If you lose, you're gonna hear about it. Yeah. It's a no-win situation for Georgia at this point because
I'm fine with that.
Who was the guy? There was a guy on CBS that was like talking about like that. Do you know what I'm talking about? He posted this. There was a video from the broadcast talking about Georgia, like they're the number one team. They're playing like the number one team, and unless you beat them, they're the number one team.
Amazing. I don't remember that. Was that during the game?
It wasn't during the game. It was all after. This is like after the game.
It was in the post-game show. Oh shoot, I can't remember who that guy is. I know you're talking about. Yeah, he was like on the desk the desk show. Yes,
the African American guy. I can't remember his name.
I can't think of what that guy's name is. I know exactly. I can see his face. I know exactly who you're talking about.
He was just going off on it like they are the number one team until you beat them.
Right.
They've won how many 20 something consecutive games, like whatever it is. Like
yeah. I have seen that. Yeah, sorry. I did not see it. I didn't see it live because we left right after, but to go to that party. But
I remember I remember one of the things that I was gonna mention, like Graham, I think it was Graham. He posted something about like the stretch that we're on right now, where we've won like 40, we've won 42 out of 43 games in the last couple of years here, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the next closest stretch is like 1977 to 1980 something, like Alabama, like those, I guess those dominating years when Alabama was playing back then. Like we're about to be up against even like Alabama's like record run in the SEC. Like we're on truly, like we say that these are the best of times, like these are the good old days. Like with every passing game that we win, just becomes more and more apparent of how historic this really is. And I don't think that really, I really don't. I don't think anybody truly has appreciated it yet, particularly from the national media narrative, because it's all been like, oh yeah, the easy schedule, Georgia won or they struggled or whatever. It's because we're just not lighting up teams left and right here, but like just win, baby.
Yep.
And if you run all the way out, you run the clock all the way out on the season with the hoisting another trophy, and I promise you, I'm not going to care.
Yeah.
I won't
Yeah.
care at all.
Yeah. No, me neither. Me neither. I think we got to end on that, JP. Although, actually, I lied. Brian Jones. That's the guy's name. Sorry, I looked it up. In case anyone is yelling at their podcast player of choice, it's Brian Jones. That's the CBS analyst.
Someone would be yelling at it. Yeah.
Love it. Well, another cocktail party in the books. Always good to beat the Gators. Felt great on Saturday. I don't know. And we'll be back. Got a big one coming up. We'll be back soon to preview Mizzou.
Yes, sir. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.